Thank you for that introduction, and my friends, good evening, and thank you for making the time to be here. And while many have thanked those that have put this on tonight, I again want to say that I appreciate so much the people who've organized this event, all of the sponsors, those who have donated items and time and food, and certainly Neptune Aviation, who time and time again have gone out of their way to really share with this community, with this state. Many of you maybe didn't know, but they stepped up and they actually got our highway patrol troopers down to Utah the day that Wade was transferred down there. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. Heroism and sacrifice. You know, it's one thing to talk about these ideals. It's another thing to live them. It's another thing to see them embodied in another person, to see the costs, the price the person and his or her family pays. Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Wade Palmer has shown us both. On a cold winter day in 2014, Wade and Trooper TJ Templeton. TJ, where are you, buddy? Stand up, will you? TJ? Wade and Trooper TJ Templeton showed us heroism. Amidst a horrific multi-vehicle crash on Interstate 90, Wade ran toward the danger, not away from it, and saved a person whose life was seconds and inches away from ending. Because of his courage, character, and training, a woman is still alive, and children still have a mother. This past March, in the dark hours of night, while most of us slept in peace and safety of our homes, Wade showed another kind of heroism. He showed the quiet kind, lived by first responders who go about their duties knowing the risks, knowing that life-threatening dangers can come in an instant. He also showed us sacrifice. What began as an ordinary work shift ended with a sudden attack, a moment that changed the course of Wade's life. I am grateful to the Almighty God that He is still with us, that His road ahead is long and uncertain. In my time as Montana's Attorney General, few things have caused me as much pain as seeing Wade cling to his life on a hospital bed in Utah. At the same time, it has brought me tremendous joy to see the groundswell of support for Wade and his family. The very fact that we are gathered here is yet another testimony to that groundswell. And I can't begin to describe it. Phone calls, emails, letters, visits, prayers, financial support, offers of direct help to the family here and in Utah, all of this repeated over and over and over again. Not long after the shooting, Wade's family at the Montana Department of Justice began gathering and organizing the support we knew he would need. It didn't take long for other people to begin doing the same thing, and they did it on their own accord. When the doctors in Missoula decided to move Wade to the nearest Level 1 trauma center in Salt Lake City, it was both painful and reassuring. It was painful because we did not want him to leave Montana, his home, the place and the people he serves so faithfully. But it was reassuring because we knew he would be receiving the medical care he needed. Upon Wade's arrival in Salt Lake City, once again, we were taken aback by the outpouring of support. The law enforcement community in Utah, first responders, fire service, quickly stepped in and did all they could to help Wade, his family, and those of us who went down to be present. And let me just share a little bit of a story with you. I was en route to Missoula when I found out that Wade was going to Salt Lake, and I couldn't get a commercial flight. So I got my highway patrol trooper pilot to come and pick me up in Bozeman, which he dropped everything to do. And we flew, actually I flew the airplane, don't let anybody know that. We flew to Utah. And I heard that a Utah trooper would be picking me up. What I didn't realize, it was the colonel of the Utah Highway Patrol who picked me up and took me to the hospital in Salt Lake. And as we drove up and got closer to the hospital, I started to see patrol cars and fire trucks and EMS ambulances lined up, lights running, and men and women standing as if at attention, being there for Wade and his family. When I got into the hospital, there were literally dozens of law enforcement officers, first responders, fire service, you name it, that were in the lobby all the way up to the level where Wade was, in the hallways, showing signs of support for their brother. And even though Wade wears a different uniform under the flag of another state, Utah law enforcement officers are treating him as one of their own. They are rallying to his side the same way they would if it were one of their own who'd been wounded in the line of duty. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed to have with us several members of the Utah Fraternal Order of Police. Would you please stand, our FOP brothers and sisters? If I had to try to catalog everything that these individuals and their organization have done to help Wade and Lindsey Palmer, and yes, Casey and Leah Blanchard, I went to them and I said, you know, we have a Montanan here who was shot, and that's why Wade was out that night, protecting the rest of us. And they don't have a lot, and young Leah, the mother, is worried, sick about her husband and her family. I don't know if you can do anything. They're not law enforcement officers. And before I could even finish, you, sir, yes, you, sir, you said, sir, we will take care of them. And you have. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. They've taken care of the visitors from Montana, even your own Attorney General. I had a few great meals, thank you very much. And they just did wonderful things. They have worked tirelessly to meet the needs of people that they had never met before. They have poured out love and support with a selflessness that speaks, in the words of Abraham Lincoln, to the better angels of our nature. So to our friends in Utah, I can only say this. We owe you a profound debt. On behalf of Montana and her people, thank you for all you have done and all you are still doing. And most of all, thank you for standing with us in the midst of tragedy. From every corner of Montana, from our friends in Utah and from throughout the country, the prayers and support of an untold multitude have poured in and sustained the Palmer family. In a national climate that can sometimes be hostile to the law enforcement profession, it is truly refreshing to see the silent majority speak up and step up to support a fallen officer. In the history of our country and our world, solidarity so often rises out of tragedy. We have seen a glimpse of that here. In my years as Attorney General, I cannot recall an incident in Montana that spurred so many people to come together with such enthusiasm around a common cause and around a family and around each other. Let this unity be the mark that defines us. We can never truly repay Wade Palmer for the sacrifice he has made in our service, but in addition to honoring our commitment to care for him and his family, we can honor his legacy by rising above the petty differences that so often divide us. We can recognize that we are all Montanans, we can remember that this place we call home is made all the more special by the first responders who risk life and limb to help and protect us. We can teach our children and young people that public service is a noble calling, that the safety and blessings we enjoy today are made possible by courage and sacrifice. My friends, thank you for all you have done to help Trooper Wade Palmer and his family in their hour of need. Please continue to pray and help in any way you can. Thank you for standing with Montana's law enforcement community. It is the great privilege and honor that I have to be a part of that family. I know they are devastated by what happened to Wade, but I also know that they take heart from what they see and hear from you and the things that you are doing for them. So please continue to speak up and make it known that you support our men and women who comprise the thin blue line. Let us never take them for granted, and let us never assume they understand our gratitude. It's ways large and small. Each of us can find ways to thank and support them. So thank you again for gathering here tonight. Thank you for your generosity and your prayers. May God bless the Palmer family, and may God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, General
Hello,
Fox.
my name is Lindsay Palmer. I am Trooper Wade Palmer's wife.